Morning peeps, good morning everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. I've literally just finished watching Keith Thurman destroy Brock Jarvis. And I mean destroy. And look, to be fair to Keith, he looked pretty good. He looked pretty good in there, especially when you consider he's had one fight in 5 years. That was against Mario Barrios back in 2022. Prior to that was Manny Pacquiao in 2019. So he's not been an inactive fighter. He's basically been a retired fighter. And I think you could see that in the first round. He looked a bit rusty. His timing was off. He looked very cagey as well, which is to be expected. At second round, his timing was better. He was fighting on the back foot. He was counter-punching. He was happy to engage with Brock Jarvis as well. And look, Brock landed some good shots. He landed one body shot, which I think Keith felt. And in the third round, Keith landed a beautiful uppercut, massive uppercut, and then a massive right hand. And I thought the fight was over, and it probably should have been over. I think the referee was too willing to let the fight continue. Brock got up, credit to him, but then Keith landed another massive right hand, and that was that. Keith is back, or at least that's what Keith says. Again, he's been so inactive. I just don't trust when Keith says he's going to fight again very, very soon. But we'll see. There are a number of names in the 154-pound division. Michael Zarafa was on the card. He called him out. Tim Tszyu was commentating. Keith called him out. So there are fights to be made. I would like to see him have one more before he kind of takes that step to real 154-pounders. Brock Jarvis is not a 154-pounder. Brock Jarvis, for those of you that don't follow him, I followed his career for a while. Brock Jarvis was a super bantamweight 5 years ago. You heard me right. It was a super bantamweight 5 years ago. I got it wrong. Yesterday I did a video and I thought he fought Liam Parra at 135 pounds. It was actually at 140. But the fight prior to Liam Parra, he was fighting at 135. The fight prior to that, it was at 130. These weird jumps. He literally, in the last 6 or 7 fights, he's jumped a weight class every fight. And I have no idea what they're doing with him. I have no idea what's going on. But it's difficult to gauge how good Keith is, or if Keith is back, because of the level of opponent that was in front of him. Hence why I want to see Keith take on, again, it doesn't have to be an elite 154-pounder. It doesn't have to be that at all, but a 154-pounder. And if you're Keith, I mean, again, it was only 3 rounds. Didn't get hurt in that fight. What are we? 12th of March. If you're Keith, can you get out again in June? Can you get out again in June and then have a real big name end of the year? That's kind of what the plan should be if Keith is very serious about this boxing thing. Again, Keith has kind of done this to us before. After the Barrios fight, it was like, yeah, we're going to stay busy. And we haven't seen him for 3 years up until a few hours ago. So we'll see. But I'm happy for Keith. I am. All right, let's have a look and see what else there is to talk about. Hasim Rahman Sr. favors Terence Crawford over Saul Canelo Alvarez. I think this one's going to split a lot of people. I think the majority are picking Canelo based off size and based off how Crawford looked against Madrimov, and knowing that Crawford has to jump 2 more weight classes to fight Canelo. I don't know, man. Honestly, that's why I really, really like the fight, because it intrigues me. I don't know. I don't think Crawford is as small as people think. I've been around Crawford quite a lot in the last couple of years. And Canelo isn't as big as people think either. I've said this for so many years. Canelo is a 160 guy. Maybe even a 154-pounder, you know. Honestly, I've been around some 154-pounders, and I'm like, how are you that size? Like, Canelo is the same size as Madrimov. Like, physically, he's the same size. Maybe Canelo's a bit thicker now because he's now sort of fully grown into 168-pound division. What I'm trying to get at is, yes, Crawford's jumping a couple of weight classes, but it's not like Crawford's taking on Benavidez or Morale or those type of size guys. Canelo isn't that. So, look, I mean, we'll get to who wins once the fight happens. We are so far away from it. Canelo's got Williams' skull, and I think everyone is shitting on Skull, including myself. Just don't know in boxing, you know. Honestly, you don't know in boxing. Chris Eubank Jr. fined £100,000 by the British Boxing Board of Control for the egg slap. They don't say that here. They say for the egg incident. That's a joke. Honestly, I think that's a joke. And look, this isn't me trying to condone it, right? But come on, man. What is this? Where have they got that amount from? So someone just plucked that amount from thin air, haven't they? And that is, I mean, surely it's just a slap on the wrist for Chris. I mean, if you have priors, then okay, cool. If it was, say it was Derek Chisora that did the egg slap, fine. Derek Chisora's got quite a few priors. But Chris Eubank is always very, very good and always very respectful at press conferences. Never does anything. So where have they just got this from? I just find it so... And I don't know, man. That's them wanting to kind of lay down the law. And it just doesn't have to be that. I'll be very shocked if Chris pays that. I think that they're going to come to some sort of agreement that we don't know about where Chris maybe pays a tenth of that. Because that's just stupid. And I think you guys know how Chris is. You think Chris is willingly going to give up 100 grand? Absolutely no chance. I think it's excessive. And look, it's made the fight. I mean, the fight was already big, but now the fight's even bigger because of that. Because of that, the fight trended around the world. People are going to tune in, and they always were, but this has definitely added an extra couple of zeros on everyone's paycheck because of Chris Eubank. So I think it's stupid. I know their argument is going to be that it was dangerous and it could have led to this and it could have led to that. And what if the egg went into to Conor Benn's eye? But it didn't. None of that happened. So I think it's stupid, and I think they need to look at themselves. And look, say it is 100 grand. Where does that 100 grand go to? Like, does it go to charity? Does it go into someone's back pocket? Or sorry, what I mean back pocket, I mean, does it go into the British Boxing Board of Control's accounts? Like, where does that money go to? I need to know more. But I just think it's a bit silly. All right. The press conference, the LA press conference was the other day for this Times Square event. And that one was so much better than the one I went to in New York. It was. Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia finally went at each other. Teofimo Lopez and Arnold Barboza went at each other. Ramirez isn't really the one to talk, so Devin had to kind of... I'm happy that Devin had Ryan there, because Devin's never ever going to say anything to Ramirez to get under Ramirez's skin, and Ramirez just ain't that guy. But that one felt a bit more like there was a bit of heat between the fighters, which I think we all expected in New York. Bill Haney was very, very, very upset with Todd Grisham. He felt like Todd had maybe disrespected his son. I do think the narrative, though, surrounding Devin Haney seems to be so weird. Like, Devin Haney is the one that fought a guy that, whether knowingly or unknowingly, had PEDs in his system and came in overweight. But Devin Haney's getting the heat. Is it because Devin Haney tried to take him to court? I actually don't have a problem with that. I honestly don't have a problem with that. You fight me with PEDs, I'm taking you to court. I'm taking you to fucking court. Because that seems to be the only way that fighters will be deterred. Like, if it goes to court and fighters are going to get hurt in the pocket a bit more, that seems to be the only way, because I think we know that the sanctioning bodies aren't doing anything. The promoters aren't doing anything. The broadcasters, I don't know if they could do anything, but they're not doing it. No one's doing anything. So maybe it's up to fighters to kind of do it on their own. So maybe that's why he's getting stick. I don't know, but yeah, it's funny, that one. And I do think they are risking what they're doing here. I think he should have gone straight, honestly, should have gone straight to Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney. This semi-final thing they're doing, I've just got a weird feeling about Jose Ramirez and Devin Haney. I think Ryan will get past Rolly. But Jose Ramirez knows that this is it. This is your last real big chance. Didn't look good against Arnold Barboza. I don't know. I almost feel like he's been overlooked here. I think there is a bit of a Jose Ramirez problem, and we don't know how Devin's reacted to that beating, and it was a beating. I was there ringside. Devin got hit a lot. His face was fully swollen after. Mentally, you don't know where he's going to be. Jonathan Gonzalez-Ortiz shouldn't be in the ring with Edgar Berlanga. I don't know too much about Jonathan Gonzalez. Let's have a quick look. Let me have a look at his record. But they're right. I don't even need to look at the record to know that he shouldn't be in the ring with Berlanga. Just because Berlanga went 12 rounds with Canelo, why are we dropping back so far? I don't understand what he's doing. It's not like there aren't fighters for him to fight. 1 second, let me get this guy's record up. Okay, so this guy is okay. So he's unbeaten, 20-0-1. Who's he fought? Let's have a look. Oh my god. Okay, so his last fight, he fought someone that was 14-5. Stopped him, to be fair. Prior to that, he fought a guy that was 5-23. Prior to that, he fought a guy called Rogelio Luna. I know him, Medina. 32-5, 14-7, 23. It's not the worst, but it's certainly not the best. Look, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe Berlanga needs to kind of get that confidence back. Remember when Berlanga was coming through and he was stopping everyone in the first round, and I think he either had Mike Tyson's record on the horizon or broke Mike Tyson's record. Maybe he just needs a bit of confidence to get back to that. But when you're in a division that has Christian Mbili, Pacheco, Caleb Plant, you should not be fighting that. It's true. You shouldn't be fighting that. All right, I think that is it. We are done. Peace and love.